From the heart of Bulldog Country, this is Sports Central on Bulldog Sports TV, brought to you by Harrison County Community Hospital. We're your weekly home for in-depth coverage, highlights, and insider insight on everything South Harrison Bulldogs. Whether it's game-winning moments or what's coming up next, Sports Central is your front row seat to it all. It's time to break it down, fire it up, and celebrate Bulldog pride like never before. Let's join your host, CF Rainey and Andrew Sweat.
All right, so we welcome you into another week of Sports Central. CF Rainey, Andrew Sweat here, brought to you by Harrison County Community Hospital. Appreciate their sponsorship of all of our Sports Central content, as well as all of our other sponsors, both business and family. And so, Andrew, we'll jump right into it. The big news this week, South Harrison varsity softball going to the state semifinals down in Springfield, and that will be Friday at 11 a.m., And for the first time in a while, Bulldog Sports TV will not be following and live streaming, as that will be picked up by Misha TV down at the state championships. And so they're playing Montgomery County Friday at 11 a.m. It'll be another one. You'll have to live stream it on Misha. But, Andrew, we'll go back real quick and just kind of recap that game Saturday. I made the 3-hour drive, almost 3-hour drive all the way over to Illinois. Highland, Missouri High School. And, boy, it started out. And Highland, Andrew, if you remember last year, came over to Bethany. They made the long trip over. They won 9-0, went on to win the state championship. Returned almost the same team. The only difference was their pitcher, Abby Lay, blew her knee out in basketball last year. And so she's still been a very good pitcher. A little inconsistent time. South Harrison saw that, and Highland jumped out 2-0, and then they were up 3-0. I'm just kind of looking at my notes. And then in the bottom of the third, Lexi Hunter singled and was able to move over, and then Tania Dahl got a double over the third baseman, a little slap double that dropped just inside foul territory. South Harrison scored the first run. It was 3-1. And then in the top of the fourth, Highland got two more to make it 5-1. Bottom of the fifth, and Andrew, South Harrison's done this all year, 2-out rallies. And I don't know if you've been a part of that on teams before, but it's just kind of sometimes an uncanny thing to be able to do that with 2 outs. And South Harrison 2-out rally. Again, Lexi Hunter got on. She stole to Tania Dahl, got on, and moved Lexi over to third. And then Lexi Hunter scored on a wild pitch. And so then it was 5-2. Then Rory Fitzgerald came up, and, boy, she lined one, hard into center field. The center fielder ran in. And, Andrew, did you ever play outfield when you played?
I did at times, yes.
Okay, and so this was a line shot, didn't get very high off the ground. It was directly at the center fielder, and sometimes those are the hard ones to get because it's hard to judge the distance, and Rory Fitzgerald smoked it just off the end of the glove. So it was 5-4 heading into the sixth. South Harrison held Highland scoreless, still 5-4, and then it all started. Maddie Meadows got a single to reach with one down. Then there was 2 outs. I think Lexi Hunter flew out to the outfield. Tania Dahl reached a little slap back to the pitcher, and her speed sped the Highland up, and the pitcher, Abby Lay, threw it into the ground. So Tania Dahl reaches, that run scores. Now all of a sudden it's a tie ball game, and you're in that bottom of the sixth, so just one more inning in softball. Tensions start to everything gets a little tighter when it's like that, because Highland had control of the game. And then Abby Lay, their pitcher, started to struggle. They walked Bailey Barnett intentionally. Then she walked Ambry Hunter, and Ambry Hunter had a great at bat, fouled off a couple, and then took that ball 4. They bring in a new pitcher, a freshman. A freshman comes in with 2 outs, bases loaded, and Andrew, just imagine that kind of pressure on a player in that kind of ball game. And the new pitcher, Brinkley, came in, and she threw a ball over the plate. I think it was the third or fourth pitch to Rory Fitzgerald, and Rory Fitzgerald smoked one over the right center field fence. Grand slam, 9-5. South Harrison goes 1-2-3 in the top of the seventh. I think 2 strikeouts and then a ground out for the final out. and to move on. So a fun ball game, and
Yeah.
again, just the ability for a team to come back after down early, and then 2 outs both times, and get those big rallies.
Yeah, they did it. They're at in state now. Yeah, I was kind of surprised when you told me that there's only like 4 teams in softball that are actually like in the legit state tournament. But that makes it all the better. Only 2 more games left and a chance to hoist the trophy.
Yeah,
Pretty
so
pretty special for South Harrison.
no, it's really neat. And they were there. A big chunk of this team was there a couple years ago as
Yeah,
underclassmen.
true.
And so to return, and again, they'll play Montgomery County at 11 a.m. On the other side, 2 teams South Harrison has played, Holden and Mid Buchanan. And
Mhm.
South Harrison has played both those teams close. And I know the Mid Buchanan game that was here at home, South Harrison did not play well that day, quite a few errors. And South Harrison Coach Aaron Fitzpatrick has them playing some of their best ball here late in the season. So a perfect time to be playing your best ball in October, almost November. They'll get in November
Mhm.
when they get to the state championship game on Saturday. So that is that. The other thing, football, Andrew, you and I were down Gallatin last week. Final regular season game, GRC game, senior night at Gallatin. And it did not start the way South Harrison would have wanted it to start.
No, that's an understatement, I'd say. We thought we were all in for maybe a Gallatin upset. I know the fans were probably feeling that way. Gallatin fans were feeling that way, but there was a couple big mistakes, especially on special teams that helped Gallatin get off to a good start, and they really just looked like they were in control of the game from the beginning. Hemery was making some really good plays. It didn't look like we were going to be able to stop them, but then all of a sudden, the must have been a good talk or something on the sideline by the coaches because they kind of got all settled. We started running the football, establishing the run game, and we really just controlled the game from there on out. But yeah, like you said, early on it was a little nerve wracking. Didn't want to drop that last game heading into districts, but I think 30-14 was the final score, something like that.
Yeah, let me go
So
back here. I
we,
pulled
we
it up.
didn't
Yeah,
we didn't
30
keep
to 10. They got that field
30 to
goal
10. That's right.
as time expired.
Yeah,
Kind of a weird series there at the end for Gallatin.
about 20 minutes
Yeah, they
to get
kept
those
calling
last
timeouts.
points.
But it's one of those, and it wasn't an onside kick. It was a little pooch kick. Gallatin got on. South Harrison struggled with those, and I'm sure they've worked on it this week in practice because any team that is going to play them in the future, I'm sure has watched that film. South Harrison didn't get on. Gallatin got it, so momentum. They score, and they came out throwing the ball quite a bit. They were rotating quarterbacks and different things. Then they get the second kick after they score, and that's one of those, Andrew. There were a ton of flags in that game Friday night, and one flag really came in handy for South Harrison because I think it was Embry that scored on a scramble, and that
Yeah,
came
that's
back
right.
on a hold. And then South Harrison just kind of settled down. And I think that's what teams that are really senior laden like South Harrison do, kind of like South Harrison softball, weather the storm early
Yeah.
and then find a way to settle in. And you mentioned with that run game, Cray Coffey, I saw over 4,000 career yards, which is
Yep.
amazing, for a running back to be able to do that. And he and Mason Galloway really both got going. South Harrison didn't throw the ball a lot, didn't have to, but when they needed to, completed some passes. And then their defense settled in. And really, we go back to they only gave up the one touchdown, the late field goal. So kind of got back to where they were, not giving up scoring plays defensively, and really settled in there against Gallatin, which we knew was going to be a tough game in the GRC, which is down overall, but Gallatin is one of those top teams coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said last week, Gallatin's kind of a semi-rival for South Harrison. It might be our rival at this point, especially playing them at the end of the year. But yeah, it just looked like a completely different team once they. So that experience really comes in handy when you have a lot of seniors on your team and they're not panicking. Kind of helps maybe the younger guys be like, okay, play into that energy. And South Harrison knew they were the better team if they just did what they were supposed to do. Grind the ball down their throats and just play fundamental football. They were going to end up with the victory, and they did that. And I'm trying to think how many game win streaks we're on. Maybe I think we lost to Putnam in week
Yeah,
three.
that was week 2. So
That
one,
was
two,
week
three, four,
two. Yeah.
five, 6, 7 in a row to be 8-1, and then that brings you to postseason. And you know from being there, when you were in high school, it's one and done at this point. And South
Yeah.
Harrison secured that 3 seed, so they get on paper what should be a favorable matchup with Lathrop. But Lathrop comes out of a really good KCI conference. And so sometimes records, and I know Cameron is a team that's above South Harrison in the district seeding. Sometimes records don't tell the whole story, and so this is definitely not a team South Harrison can overlook coming out of the KCI. Thankfully, they do get a home game, guaranteed at least one home game, and so I watched a little film on Lathrop this week. They've got some good size on their line. They like to run it. We'll see what South Harrison's able to do there.
Yeah, I mean that's it. We're just gonna have to see what happens on Friday night. Luckily, it's a home game for us. It'll be Halloween night. I don't know if the student section gonna get all dressed up and rowdy, but need everybody to come out and support the Bulldogs. It's always a special thing when you can get like a home playoff game. I know my senior year we were able to get I think all of our playoff games were home games. So really just gives you that extra boost. And a team like Lathrop, who I looked and were 0-2 all time against Lathrop, and that was my freshman and sophomore years. So I haven't been able to beat Lathrop, so I'm rooting extra for the Bulldogs this week.
Well, hopefully South Harrison is able to get it. So Andrew and I will be on the call. We want to remind everyone we'll put stuff out on social media. It will be through Misha TV pay-per-view, and so we don't get the luxury of putting it out on Facebook or our YouTube channel. Also, we don't get the luxury, and the thing I've missed when I'm on Misha TV, can't see the comments and everyone commenting. That's some of the great things as we're doing our broadcast. But we will be live streaming, and we will follow South Harrison football throughout their run here in the playoffs. So it'll all be on Misha TV. So South Harrison softball will be playing Friday at 11 a.m. on Misha TV. We'll put some links there, even though we're not broadcasting, just so everyone can see that. And then Andrew and I will be live right around 6:50 with our pregame as usual from South Harrison Memorial Field in the first round of districts, and look forward to moving on another week. We'll recap South Harrison's, hopefully recap their run to a state championship in softball next week, and then talk about this first district game and look ahead to the next one. So we appreciate you tuning in to Sports Central, again sponsored by Harrison County Community Hospital, and we will see you Friday evening.
Go Dogs.